All right, hello everyone. I want to thank you for joining me for this short sale mastermind webinar. This is Mike Linkenauger, Director of Operations for the Short Sale Specialist Network here. And joining me is Brandon Brittingham of Long & Foster. Brandon, go ahead and kind of introduce yourself and talk about who you are, where you came from, what you've done in the past, and what you're doing right now in the industry.
Thanks, Mike. I'm Brandon Brittingham. I'm a real estate agent for Long & Foster in the Maryland area. I cover Maryland, Delaware, Virginia. Also the head of training for Long & Foster when it comes to short sales. I've trained about 4,000 agents nationwide. I'm active in the field. Last year I did about 140 units. I've been a regional top producer for the last 3 years. Got my license about 5 years ago. Last year, actually, something that I'm really excited about, I was one of NAR's 30 under 30, and it was the last year for me to make it because I'm turning 30 soon, so I was lucky enough to get it last year. And I started doing short sales about 3.5 years ago because I saw in the area of Maryland where I was in, there was such a big need for it. Was not very many agents out there doing it, and it quickly, took me from being a mid-level producer to basically regional producer, top of my region for the last 3 years. So, for me, using short sales as a tool to grow my business, it's really helped me, and it's really kind of exploded and kind of, created a referral stream, that I think is for life. It's really helped me get, above 100 units every year.
Well, the best thing about doing these webinars, Brandon, is, I bring on some of the best agents in the country here, such as yourself, and some of the top short sale agents, coaches, trainers who are really learning how to do something different and get ahead here. And a lot of people listen to these to learn how to get more business, how to get more listings and things like that. You mentioned referrals, and just real quick there, tell me a little bit about, do you get a decent amount of referrals from other agents, from past clients? What are some ways you do that, and what can you share with some agents here that might help them improve their referral business?
Well, I think number one, and it's a combination of things. I think one of the things you mentioned, Mike, which is a good point, is, I do get a lot of referral business for short sales from other agents because a lot of agents are scared to do short sales, or they think that they're a waste of time. For me personally, I think short sales are a great investment in time because I think that if you think about it, we're in a referral business. And if you stop somebody's house from going to foreclosure, they will never forget you. You've impacted their life. You've not just done a transaction with them. You've actually changed their life for the positive. So what's kind of happened with me is I grabbed a lot of market share in my area by doing short sales because there wasn't a lot of competitors doing it. So other agents started to give me their short sale business, and then the clients that I helped started to refer me other business because they would tell everybody. They almost become like a street promoter in the community for you. And not necessarily that they referred me other distressed business. I've actually gone back and looked at, doing one short sale over the course of my last, 3.5 years, how many actual referrals that I get out of it. And on average, when I do one short sale for somebody, I get at least another 2 or 3 referrals out of them. And not even necessarily, like I said, other distressed business. Sometimes it's equity sales because they tell all their friends, their family, their coworkers about you because you've had such a positive impact on their situation.
Absolutely. If agents on here don't have a way to reach out to realtors, like Brandon said, a lot of it is reputation. Here's a site that I use to email realtors around the country some. I highly suggest it. It's very affordable, ecampaignpro.com. You can jot that down if you like, ecampaignpro.com. If you want to email agents in your local area, you pay about maybe $30, $40 a month, if that, and you can email, every agent in your area at least once a month. So that's a great way to just blast out 3, 4, 5,000 agents or however many you have in your area and say, hey, I specialize in short sales. I'd love to pay you a referral fee and also make you look good in front of your clients, you know. Good, Brandon. So what are some other ways that you found to help generate leads or referrals, or what else you doing to get up over 100-something deals a year here?
One of the things that I have found that's been huge to me is online presence. And I have, my own blog. I have a website. I go and I'll write articles for, on Active Rain, on Trulia, point those back to my website. Same for my blog. And, what I've actually done is we've actually started to track, where our traffic comes through from. So we track our search engine optimization. We have Google Analytics tied to all of our websites. So what we do is every month, we sit down and we look at where our traffic came from. Did it come from Facebook? Did it come from Active Rain? Did it come from Trulia? And then we focus on the areas where we got the most amount of traffic. And let's say, for instance, I wrote an article that talked about the changes for Chase or Wells Fargo or Bank of America, whatever the case is, and we saw that was the article that got us a bunch of traffic. What we'll do is we'll keep content similar to that again the next month. And one of the things that I think that everybody that's out there listening that I want you to know is a lot of people think that the internet is kind of like magic, and you just put stuff out there and you're automatically going to get business. That's not necessarily the case. The reality of it is that, and especially in this area of doing short sales, people kind of have to trust you to reach out to you. So, writing articles and keying really good content places, kind of gets people comfortable with you. It's the way for them to find you through the internet. Because frankly, a lot of people who are in trouble, the first thing they're not going to do is just pick the phone up and call a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. A lot of people who are in trouble, the first thing they're going to do is go online and start to research stuff. And if you have content that matches up to what they're looking for, it kind of breaks the ice.
Absolutely, and you start to build on it too. It gives you credibility too. They don't know if you're an agent who's done 2 short sales or 2,000 short sales. If you're somebody who they find online who's writing on short sales like they're an authority, they're going to assume you are an authority on them. And, Brandon, I think I've shared this with you before, but that's how I quickly as an agent got up over, I had well over 120, 130 short sale listings at one time, locally, just locally. Just through my internet presence, really not even social media, really search engine optimization, did a lot of blogging and advertising on classified sites, Backpage, Craigslist, not for traffic, for search engine optimization, here, let me give you a quick example here. I'm going to do like Orlando short sale specialist. Here's an ad that we use for short sale lead machine sites, and this ad gets on the first page of Backpage all the time, or on the first page of Google all the time, because it has a lot of keywords relevant to short sales. There's a lot of links back to the site here. This is actually an old ad. This has been on the first page of Google for probably 4 years or more. Just this one little ad here that was written some time ago. So, it's just really a matter of stopping to take the time to do it. Here's another one. This one's actually part of the short sale lead machine program that agents can just post on there, and it's just some out-of-the-box content that does good on the search engines. Definitely a way to build credibility right here, huh?
Absolutely. And, I think one of the other things that I've found is, using social media as kind of an outlet as well. And you're not necessarily going on somewhere like Facebook and saying I'm a short sale expert or whatever the case is, but I found, taking something like a short little blurb like, here are 3 misconceptions between short sales and foreclosures. Or, keying content like that that's kind of an action header, here are 10 myths about short sales that you didn't know, and then posting that link on Facebook back to your blog or back to your website, whatever the case is. Because in this subject, the public is starved for relevant content, especially on this. And again, if you become the resource of relevant content, that can really help you generate business, because people would rather see something, because there's so many people that need help, and there's so many people that are in trouble all over the country, that your direct audience that on your Facebook, maybe they don't need it, but they know somebody that needs it, and then that kind of just adds to bringing people to you and getting more eyeballs. I would say right now 30 to 35% of the business that we're doing, which is fairly substantial. Like I said, last year we did over 140 units, is coming from online.
Gosh, I'm over 90%.
Wow.
I love what you said though about when social media is great. You got to build a fan base, and get a lot of friends and build a fan page, which I'm actually about to email out a video I just made on that a few minutes ago, just this morning. But you mentioned about having dynamic content, like you mentioned, things that are really, it's one thing just to yab about, what you ate for breakfast on Facebook and Twitter. It's another thing to provide people with a resource, like you mentioned, the benefits of a short sale versus foreclosure and why short sale is better, things like that. Like I'm looking at your blog right now, who owns my loan? This is a great tool. You put something like this on your social networking. People want to know, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac owns my loan, who really owns it? Little stuff like that will really go a long way in actually getting click-throughs once you build a fan base and get people on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that, like if you see Chase short sale packages at the top of our blog, and then the second one below it is where we actually sat down with one of the heads of Wells Fargo and interviewed him about the processes that for 2012 and 2013. Anytime you take a company like a Wells or a Bank of America or a Chase and you keep content specific to that company, like, Chase short sale, here's what you need to know, or here's the 5 most important things you need to know when it comes to putting a Chase short sale package together. Those type of articles on the internet get heavy traffic. They get a substantial amount of not only picked up by search engines, but putting something like that on any social media channel gets a lot of traffic, because consumers that's what they're going online and looking for if they're in their situation. They're typing in Chase short sale package or
Wells
Chase
Fargo
short
sale process or something like
that.
that.
Yeah. So
You're right.
that's what people are looking for. And I think Mike, you just typed that in. And
here's that blog post right there, number 3 for Wells Fargo short sale process. That means your blog post has very good SEO. Look at this. Here's one of my pages right here. That's number 4. And I think number 5 is one of ours too.
So you can kind of see it. If you look at that, where we're ranking is we're right under Wells Fargo's their own site. So and your average consumer now realistically would rather read an article written by one of us than go to Wells Fargo's actual site, because they're more trusting of the real estate community than they are of the banks now.
Absolutely, that's a great tool. Make sure too when you're writing content, the reason why this ad is on the first page period is because it's got these great keywords in the title. That's really, really important to have those in the title and throughout the content. You'll notice when he's writing stuff here, has his headers that are in bold. That's really important too. He has a lot of keywords that are in bold here and that are in, you got to use the tags, H2 and H3, like paragraph header tags, will really go a long way. Yeah, look at this, Wells Fargo short sale process. Because he has these several times, this is really good for search engine optimization. So if you guys listening, if you're writing on your, even on your short sale lead machine site or any real estate website that you have, you want to write content with keywords that are relevant to short sales that are in bold content. This is an old, this is actually one of my local real estate websites here, and I've created a page. It's over 700 content pages, but you'll notice how a lot of the keywords, you'll see they're in H2 and H3 tags at the top here. That gets the search engine's attention too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That gives them a little bit of extra Google juice here, as I like to call it. I didn't realize that you're doing as much SEO as you are, but really in the grand scheme of things, that's what we're all about at the Short Sale Specialist Network. Most stuff that you type in, you'll find we're on multiple spots on the search engines.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's just, again, it's what your consumers. That's the consumer's attention span has changed so much now. They would rather go to Google to type something in to get an answer than anywhere else anymore.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate, but it's not unfortunate for those of us that know how to do search engine optimization, and you stop and take the time to learn how to do it. Brandon, I'm sure you'll agree, like we were talking about this a little bit before. You're asking if I still practice real estate locally, and I said, well, not really, kind of. I don't talk to people, but I have 50 listings. My job is I play around on the internet every now and again and get our phones ringing.
Right,
and if I want to do that more, I can bring that number up. And ultimately, my job in this day and age, if I'm doing it right, I'm just the guy, the face behind it all, and the one who gets the phones ringing and the name behind stuff. And obviously, again, there's more or less I could focus on if I choose. I'm doing this national thing, the Short Sale Specialist Network, but the bottom line is I still run a local brokerage company and office with many listings, and I'm closing quite a few deals because I know how to do things online. And it's interesting how the industry has totally evolved from where you stop and you bring your MLS book and you sit in your office with some homeowner and pick some potential properties and go look at them, to you write some good blog posts and content, you get a lead, you give it to somebody on your team who's going to act as you would act and get closed and sit back and collect the checks.
Absolutely. And the other thing, too, is I think, obviously, we both agree that the online, that it's certainly a lead generator. I would also say, though, anybody that's out there, don't abandon some of the traditional things when it comes to this part of the market. And what I mean by this is one of my really big lead sources is in the state of Maryland is the Housing Counselor Network. And that's when someone fails a loan modification or they come into a HUD counselor, they can't help them, they send them to me to work it out through a short sale. And how I actually got introduced to that was through a Chamber of Commerce meeting. A housing counselor happened to be there. And, that kind of grew into, it got bigger and bigger. And then I started getting business from other housing counselors. And, I'm in a leads group locally as well. I'm involved with the Chamber of Commerce. It's just getting in front of people online and offline, I think, is the name of the game, and letting them know what you do. Because in this instance, and I've traveled all over the country and spoken at all kinds of conferences, and I know Mike has too, and I'm still very surprised that it is still a very small field of agents that are really out there trying to go after short sales in a big way. And if you kind of brand yourself that way in your market, you'll have more business than you can deal with because there's so many people that turn it away and turn their nose up at it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, you mentioned HUD Counselors and reaching out to them. Anybody that's on this call, I'm going to tell you right now how to find your local HUD Counselors. Go to, this is one of our consumer sites here, short-sale-specialist.com, right, short-sale-specialist.com. It's our oldest site here. You can click on any page on here. You want to get to the secondary navigation screen here, and you're going to see right here where we have a tab that says HUD Approved Counselors. All you can do is, it's framed in here, but actually it's on HUD.gov too, but this is an easier way, just as easy way to do it here, is you can just search whatever area you're in, and you can pull up all the HUD counselors by state on here. So this is a great tool that he mentioned too. Now the legal part is he might not have mentioned this to you. Legally speaking, they're not supposed to recommend an agent or in like steer somebody towards one. But reality is they do it. You know, they might say, well, I have a few different ones, and then the homeowner's going to ask, is there one that you recommend more than others? They're going to say, sure, I recommend Brandon Brittingham. He's a great guy. I talked to him a lot. He's helped some people I work with in the past. You know, so that's a great way. Again, that's on our main, one of our consumer sites, shortsalespecialist.com. Another way that I got to give a little pitch here right away, because this is you know, it's one thing when you've got one-on-one webinars like we're doing right now with some of the top agents in the country like Brandon here. It's another thing to spend 4 or 5 days with a whole group of them and being able to pick their brains constantly. We have a great conference we do every year called the Short Sale Symposium at Sea. You guys, shortsalecruise.com, if you haven't been there yet, go check it out. See what it's all about. See some of the things we've got going on. A couple of the main topics of focus this year. You can find all the information you need on here. We're going to be focusing on, one big focus is how to get in with more banks to get direct listing assignments. And two, we're going to focus on, like Brandon's talking about here, how to set yourself apart from the crowd. Because right now, the longer we've been in this process, the more short sale specialists there are. We're talking about how to separate yourself and stand out from the crowd as a short sale specialist. Those are some of the focuses. Guys, we've got some of the top minds in the country there. I'm going to talk to Brandon. Hopefully we'll end up having Brandon on here before it's all said and done with. But, of course, you've got, like myself, real handsome guy right here. He'll be on there. Lee Honish will be on there. Many of y'all know him from Short Sale Genius program. Vanessa Liddell, she's one of the original CDPE trainers. Bryant Tudis, Short Sale Superstars, a lot more people there. So definitely check it out. We're adding a lot more things to the schedule as it draws closer. And again, that's April 20th through the 25th out of Miami. The cost, guys, is about $400 a person for the cruise and $350 a person for the actual conference side of it. You can bring your families and all that too. Only one person has to pay for the conference, of course, if your kids are coming too. But we can answer all those questions on here. Here's what I want to do real quick. I got to play a little video testimonial or two from you guys from last year's people, so you guys can really get a feel for the wealth of information on here. These are funny. It's only 1 minute and 30 seconds, so check this out here. You're going to like it.
Oh my God, JR. I am so stressed out with kids. I'm so stressed out with work. We need a vacation.
Are you serious? A vacation? I don't have time for a vacation. I'm going to be short sale files. I got to get these things negotiated. I need help with that. I'm trying to work on the website to get that taken care of, and we can get more traffic. Plus, I got to do something to get these phones ringing. They're not ringing. What do you suggest we do?
Listen, JR, the answer to our problem is the Short Sale Symposium at Sea. It's also hosted by Mike Linkenauger of the Short Sale Network team.
Mike Linkenauger? The Mike Linkenauger? That would be better than the time I met Clay Aiken.
Anything is possible! Never thought I'd be on a ball. Let's go! Used to be so on it all. Look at me. Never thought I'd be there.
I recommend that every realtor takes the Short Sale Symposium cruise. It's a great way to network, meet new friends, and gain a wealth of short sale information. Thank you, Short Sale Network, and I'll see you next year on the cruise.
That's a funny one. All right, this one's a really short one here, but a little more professional.
Hi, Joel and Michelle McClintock from West Palm Beach, Florida. Just relaxing, recovering from a tough week at work. Actually, not so much. We just got back from 5 days at sea participating in the 2012 Short Sale Symposium at sea. It was hosted by the Short Sale Specialist Network, and what an amazing job they did, and it was just a great event. So congratulations, and thanks so much to Mike and April and JP and Ethan. You guys are amazing. You did such a great job, and to think we almost didn't go, that would have really been a shame. We learned so much. We had so much fun. And we are very excited about going next year to the 2013 Short Sale Symposium at Sea. We will see you there.
That's Michelle. If you don't know her, Michelle is actually the resident short sale expert at Harris Real Estate University. Both of them are presenters on the conference this year as well. But get back to what we were talking about, guys. ShortSaleCruise.com. That's another great way to help take your short sale business to another level here, you know. So, Brandon, what else makes you successful? You know, what else are you doing to stand out from the crowd and that sort of thing? Let's talk about, are you still waiting, Brandon? What about training? You mentioned that you've done some training for Long & Foster and some short sale training. Brandon, you with us still? All right, looks like Brandon might have been scared away with one of our commercials. Hopefully he comes back here in just a second to join us. But, all right, guys, well, here's what we'll do. I'm going to do a quick little lesson on social media here until Brandon gets back around here. I guess, again, he might have saw our video and ran to the restroom break or something like that. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go over real quick a problem that I see a lot with people that have Facebook pages and Facebook groups. Real simple way that, you know, just like I showed you a minute ago, let me Google a term here, like Jacksonville short sale realtor. You can easily create a Facebook fan page, guys. It just takes about 5 minutes to create. That'll give you a spot on the first pages of the search engines. Really easy. Here's what you need to do this. All right, so take notes, a couple more minutes here, and then I'll take any of your questions. And shows Brandon's still on here, so I don't know what happened to him.
I got kicked off somehow for a second. I'm back, though.
That's all right. I thought he got bored of listening to my video. I was about to start talking social media and stuff like that with him. Thank God you're back, Brandon. They hear enough of me all the time. So let's talk a little bit about some of the training that you've done. How about that? And some of the stuff that you're doing right now nationally, sure, and a little bit of that.
Yeah, so what we did is, you know, Long & Foster came to me about 2 years ago. Long & Foster, depending on where you are, if you're not familiar with it, Long & Foster is, we're only in the mid-Atlantic. We're only in about 8 states, but we're actually the biggest independent real estate brokerage in the country. And they said, we want you to create a training based on not philosophy, but based on how you actually get a short sale completed, how you actually negotiate in certain situations, what's the different nuances between a Bank of America and Wells Fargo. You know, if it's an FHA loan, you know, the process is different than Fannie Mae. So what we did is we created a training in-house, and then other people started to hear about it. We actually just got it approved by CRS, and what we've done is not only put it together with us, but we've actually interviewed like the executives of Bank of America and Wells and Chase, and every month, similar to like what Mike does, we get somebody from, you know, a different heavyweight in the industry to kind of weigh in what's going on. And, you know, we offer training to agents, we offer coaching, and, you know, just to try to help them if they want to start building their short sale business. You know, we don't do any of the online information. You know, we leave that to the professionals like you guys. Ours is more of, how you negotiate a short sale in today's market, and how to kind of build your business, within your community. And one of the things that's really excited, which we're going to give to Mike to give out to his entire network, we actually just sat down with Lori Maggiano, who was one of the creators of Making Home Affordable. She was a very big proponent in bringing half of short sales, to the public, and kind of getting the banks to get in line with some guidelines and some processes. So we interviewed Lori for 45 minutes in the Treasury Department and asked her every question possible, and which I was really unaware of. Lori used to be a real estate broker, and a lot of the ideas and things she came up with for half of short sales and guidelines for banks to follow when it comes to short sales was her experience in being in the real estate industry. So we're going to release a video that's going to be free to everybody that, gives some great content that you guys can share. You can put it on your website. You can put it on your Facebooks. It talks about how you escalate files if you're in a jam, if they're giving you a hard time. Tells you how the United States Treasury offers a lot of really free, great material that you can hand out for people who are in short sale situations. I mean, it really is. It's some groundbreaking content, and I'm just excited we were given the opportunity to sit down and interview her.
Very good. And again, guys, Brandon said he's going to give that to you, so I'll make sure we email all that out to our network here, just to share some extra resources with you. So Brandon, you've been doing a lot of training for Long and Foster. Is that what you're doing right now?
I'm very active in the market still. I've got a team, and we handle a lot of short sales. I'm doing training like maybe twice a month now, and we're doing them for other companies in different parts of the country. Honestly, it's tough. It's tough to try to balance it all, but I do love training. I love teaching. I love giving agents good information that they can go out and become successful with. I don't really do the training, for the financial gain. I do it because I love it, and I love to see other people take things that we can give them and become successful.
Very good, very good. And speaking of that, if anybody is very, very new and, you really just want to get a designation and get a lot of extra training on the cruise conference here, we will have Lee Honish is going to be teaching the Certified Default Advocate training, and you can earn that designation while on a cruise through the Caribbean. But, that's most of you guys that are on here, a lot of you have training, have designations and things like that. So it's really more about talking with people, other agents like yourself, Brandon, that are very successful, and, what they can do to get more business, more listings. One thing I want to touch on real quick, if anybody hasn't read about, some of the media stuff that our organization and Short Sale Superstars is also really getting out there a lot, it really seems like right now, the last few months, Fannie Mae is just trying to force up real estate prices. They're overvaluing properties by 20% in many cases for short sales, forcing homeowners into foreclosure, which of course they use Fannie Mae Home Path financing, and don't have to get an appraisal with them. But that's a really big thing in the industry right now. So what I want to encourage you to do is check the shortsaleguide.com for a copy of this blog post on here. Check my Active Rain blog, and make sure you get to this petition here that we're circulating right now. That's just demanding accountability from Fannie Mae. This is real important. I mean, we've just came out like yesterday, but we're up to over 1,200 signatures already. And it's really frightening what's happening here and what they're forcing here down our throats. But don't tolerate it. But again, we're losing short sale files. Agents are losing them all around the country right now through overinflated values from Fannie Mae. So, take action. If you really want to be an advocate for your homeowners, make sure you guys take action, sign this petition, and do something, be part of the solution, you know. At this time, what I want to do, we can go ahead and answer any questions anybody might have, either for myself or Brandon. What I want to encourage you to do, though, is, you know, if you have questions about like short sale lead machine program, you know, this is really more questions about how to get leads, how to do some things, specific short sale related questions. For Short Sale Lead Machine, you can go to www.shortsalehosting.com, H-O-S-T-I-N-G, which, of course, that just takes you to members.theshortsaleguide.com. You can find out all about Short Sale Lead Machine program. You can set up a site for $1, just like one of these short sale websites right here. Actually, we just went, here's one. Yeah, your site will look just like this for $1. A lot of great resources and things like that, right? So, all right. Somebody just asked, and again, go ahead and ask your questions now. We're going to go ahead and take them. Will a recap be provided for those of us that missed the first half? Grace Papa asks. Only for people that are part of the Short Sale Lead Machine program. We do provide replays and an archive, but you have to be a member of the Short Sale Lead Machine program to get access to replays of all these webinars. And we've got, you know, some really, really good minds that we've had over these since we started doing them over the last few months. We had Marie Chung, like #1 agent in the state of California. Of course, we had Vanessa Liddell, CDP trainer. We had Lee Honish. We had both Wendy Rolnick and Brian Tudis from Short Sale Superstars last week. Brandon Brittingham's this week. Some great names, and more to come. So, all right, let's see what other questions we have. Who negotiates your short, and this person left, but this is something to cover anyway. Who negotiates your short sales when you have that many short sale listings? Good problem to have, I guess. What about you, Brandon? Who negotiates your short sales when you have that many short sale listings?
I negotiate every short sale I get.
Wow, I like that. I used to do it myself, and I have an assistant on my team who's literally can hear my voice now. He's that close to me. And so he's negotiated and closed a couple hundred now. He's a broker associate. He's a licensee himself, and that's what he does on my team. But I haven't found the need to delegate that to anybody. You know, my thoughts are if I go in as an advocate for a homeowner pretending to be somebody that's there to help them, you know, it's really not very ethical for me to just hand off that responsibility to an unlicensed, unregulated party. But that's my own 2 cents. Somebody asked, do you do any target marketing via direct mail? Do you do direct mail marketing, Brandon?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we didn't touch on that. But yes, I do. Actually, I pull in the state of Maryland when someone gets filed foreclosure. It's the third month. I don't know about Florida, but in Maryland it's the 3rd month, and then it's public record. So I actually pull all the NODs, which is in our state notice of default. I pull all the notice of default and then actually send them a letter. So yes, I do a lot of direct target marketing, and it does work. It actually works very well.
What kind of conversion rate can you expect, and can people expect, and what kind of like return on investment do you get? You know, how much do you spend and that sort of thing? If you don't mind talking some generic numbers, you know.
It probably costs me about $800 a month to do it, and we probably send out, I would say, 1,500 mailers on average. It's about 1,500. By the time you put the letters together and everything that goes in them and paying somebody to put it together and send it all out, it's about $800 a month. I would say on average I get 3 to 4 solid short sale listings out of it. That's on average. Some months it's more than that. It's usually never less than that. So I would say return on investment is pretty good because, you know, average sales price where I'm at is going to be $180 to $200 for the list that we're mailing at. So, you know, spending $800 to potentially get 3 or 4 listings that generally will sell and close to me is very good. The actual return on, if I'm putting out 1,500 mailers and only getting 3 or 4, the response rate is low, but the conversion rate into actual business, it's a great return on investment.
Now, do you have a website that you try to drive them to, or a landing page, or anything like that, Brandon?
No, I just send them to my regular website. We do in certain cases. I manage a short sale team for Long and Foster, and we play with the different mailers for different response rates in the different parts of Maryland. So we do have a website that's kind of a lead converter when we send out certain short sale letters, and that's mainly to a part of Maryland called Prince George's County, which is in the top 10 in the nation for distressed property. So in those cases we do. So it just depends on which mailer I send out, if I send out my individual mailer or if I send out the short sale team mailer.
We got to get you going on one of these short sale lead machine sites here so you actually have a good landing page for them. These things only cost $600-700 a year, and they already have so many tools and SEO and good stuff on them. So anybody that's interested in doing direct mail marketing, that's a great way to generate some listings and drive traffic to whatever sites you have or whatever place that you want to bring people to. But the critical thing is, Brandon, is those kind of things. It takes money in those cases. You have to invest a little bit of money sometimes to get some systems in place. And don't be afraid, agents, to spend a few bucks on something. I got a lot of short sale listings back several years back, and I still have a lot of these signs up. And I made, similar to, the bandit signs that they put up, stop foreclosure, I buy houses cash, I just put on them short sale specialist realtor, free help. That's it. Right. Short sale specialist realtor, free help, and I put company phone number and brokerage name like we have to. And, I would list, gosh, you probably have to put out 20 signs to get one listing. 20, 30 signs. So it takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of money. You're going to spend $100 on 30 signs or more, $100, $150. But it's worth it when you're talking. Gosh, if you get $3,000, $5,000 per transaction, and we get those signs and put them in front of places, home communities that are decent price or points, newer construction communities that have higher areas of rates of default, stuff like that. This is a question that is building off the last one Randy Fox asked. He said, what content do you have in your letters? What kind of stuff do you put in there, Brandon?
Well, that's a good question. I will tell you the state of Maryland is one of the strictest states in the country when it comes to marketing to people who are behind on their mortgage payments. So we actually have a law. It's called Protection of Homeowner and Foreclosure Act, which is very strict on what you can and cannot do. But I keep it pretty simple. Just, hey, we know you may be in a situation where you're missing your mortgage payments. We'd like to talk to you about potentially discussing the option of a short sale. I've been involved in, substantial amount of short sales. There could be a chance that you could get relocation money, and then just kind of give them an understanding of what the difference between a short sale and foreclosure is, and that the reality is I think you have to educate the consumer because the consumer has no clue. And I think this goes into content that you can create. Your average consumer thinks that, well, if I just walk away from my house, everything's done. Now, I know different states have different laws, but where I'm at in the Mid-Atlantic region, all the states I practice in, somebody goes and just walks away from their house, the bank can pursue them for a deficiency. And so that's one of the things that I've seen that consumers respond to really well is that they didn't know the fact that, hey, yeah, you think by walking away you're done with the situation when the reality is you're not. And then a lot of consumers don't know that there's a possibility of them doing a short sale that they could get relocation money. I've found that those two pieces of content really help people respond to things that we put out there very well.
Very good. And There was one of these that we did, one of these Mastermind webinars we did back in December with Joel and Michelle McClintock on there. Joel and Michelle, actually, we viewed one of their videos a minute ago, and he has another thing along those similar lines. He does a lot of direct mail. He also does a lot of door hangers, almost canvassing neighborhoods, and he's got a neat door hanger, and I've actually got it right in front of me because I've reproduced it to use myself. And really, it has a stoplight on one side. It's very simple. You know, stoplight like stop foreclosure, get it? And at the top, at one part right below that, it says foreclosure. And it says, you know, the basic stuff like you said. It's bad for the homeowner and bank, ruin credit, bank loses a lot, liability for losses, complete loss of control, pursuit of deficiency. And then in short sale, it says, there is no cost to you. The bank pays my fees. I negotiate with the bank. You have more control. You can get on with your life. And it says, call me today. I can help you avoid foreclosure and get a, quote, green light on your short sale. You know, little stuff. It really short, sweet, but like you said, you have to educate them and inform them that, look, you know, there's consequences to it. We're in a recourse state, too. They need to know that this is going to plague them for many years to come. And then incentivize them, too. That was the whole point behind all these government programs, too, right, was to, or even the lender-specific programs, give them, you know, let them know that they're going to get a few $1,000s back. That's why our new, you know, short sale lead machine sites here, we have this half a banner on the right here. That's a big tool for lead conversion. People get on the site there, and obviously, you know, these work great when you're doing direct mail marketing to the site because you get people looking at stuff like this, and then they have a questionnaire on here that just kind of goes through and, you know, qualifies them for it. And God knows it doesn't matter how they answer the questions. They could answer not sure on every one of them, and when they get to the end, guess what? It's going to ask for their contact information and, you know, capture the lead for you. So whatever you're doing, make sure, you know, you have systems in place. I'm sure Brandon will agree. The only way you can become an agent that's able to produce a lot is by having really strong systems in place, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Learning to delegate and have, you know, assistants and people that can really just duplicate your level of service that you would regularly give people, you know. That's what it's all about. All right, do I have a copy of the door hanger? Yeah, there's a copy of it on actually Joel and Michelle McClintock's webinar, so you'll just have to view the past replay of that. Okay, here is John asked this question. He said, what is your take on a majority of the buyers cannot get loans through due to very strict rules coming down on lenders by Consumer Financial Protection Board? You running into a lot of that, Brandon, or having to share with that?
You saying the buyers, like buyers, can't get financing? Is that the question?
Yeah, he says due to very strict rules coming down on lenders by the Consumer Financial Protection Board.
Yeah, I mean, I will certainly say that I have seen a huge shift in what a lender asks for anymore. And, I mean, I can tell you, I don't know how many deals now that you just have to keep a watchful eye over. You know, it's like nowadays I say it's not done until you're at the table and they cut the check, because, you know, lenders are really looking into people's past, and they're really looking into their credit, and they're really giving them a hard time about everything. And then, you know, where I'm in Maryland, one of the areas I practice in, there's a lot of condos, and, you know, that's all changed as far as, you know, the lending guidelines on condos and where the, you know, the condo has to be as far as solvency. And so, yeah, I've seen a significant change in financing, and I've seen it, you know, it's so much more stringent than it used to be. And, you know, you really have to have a good buyer, and a pre-approval to me anymore is just a piece of paper, because there's so many things they have to look at beyond that pre-approval. I think it's, especially when you're doing short sales, I think you have to be very mindful of the lender, the buyer and the buyer's lender, that they've really done their due diligence, because the last thing you want is to fight for 45, 60 days, get short sale approval, and then at the 11th hour the buyer can't get financing.
That's a tough one. That's a whole thing, I guess, when we get into some training and things like that, that we can talk about the importance of, not only screening sellers on the front end, but screening buyers. You got to make sure you have the right kind of buyer that's going to wait and is qualified and all of that, so your deals don't fall apart.
Absolutely.
After you've worked your butt off to get one approved,
No doubt.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and call this official and finish it off here. Anybody that's interested in the short sale lead machine program that isn't already part of it already, look, you can just go to members.theshortsaleguide.com. You can find out everything you want to know on here. Just click on lead machine. You can also find out about getting direct listing assignments from us and our new requirements for that. And again, we do have a live demonstration webinar tomorrow for the short sale lead machine program. That's the last one we have scheduled, at least in the next few weeks here. So make sure you kind of check that out. Remember to shortsalecruise.com for the short sale symposium at sea. If you're thinking about going on that, you want to register quick, because prices are going up. Right now, prices are locked in and they're decent, but these will change. And actually, we're looking at about the second week of February to up the cost for the symposium, the actual conference part of it here. So again, guys, I want to thank you so much for listening in on this webinar or viewing this replay. Brandon, this has been an outstanding webinar. I want to thank you for participating in this, and we hope to see you too, hopefully on the short sale symposium at sea cruise as well.
Yeah, Mike, thanks so much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with your agents.
It has really been a pleasure, and guys, thanks again for viewing in. We'll talk to you soon.